Okay, on this video I want to talk about what is the best SDR to HDR conversion. So I'm gonna talk about HLG, auto HDR from Windows, a special K, fake HDR with reshade. What's the best option? So I have here Stray, and I haven't seen the game yet. I just opened it right now. So we have this calibration screen, which I love. I think this should be a standard every single game. Let me set up the settings first on PC before entering the game. So we have this calibration screen here, and it's interesting because the black level of my TV is 51, and this game is telling me that this left cat here should not be visible. So on 51 I can't see it. I can't see it if I turn off the lights or even if I get close. So I'm gonna lower it to 50, and it should be okay. So on 50 I cannot see it. I kind of know it's there, but I cannot see it. So let's see how it looks. So this is let me check the settings first. Oh, I hope this is not locked to 60. Is it? Look at my face. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Man. This, no. That's unacceptable. I'm gonna let it go. There's a patch or something. On PC, no game should be locked to 60. That's unacceptable. That's like, for me on PC, that is on the level of refund. Like, just give me a refund. That's unacceptable. That's let me just let it go for now. There's probably a patch or something I can download, but that's bad. So let me yeah, so we don't have many settings here. Mesh quality, that's basically the draw distance. Textures, that's the resolution of the textures. Shadows and effects. So we have this sharpness here, so that's telling me the game has TAA force, which is unacceptable in my opinion. I don't like that at all. So first impression is not good. Not good at all. So for example, let me tell you why this is such a big deal. I have a high-end gaming PC. I spend a lot of money. I want to get the best image quality I can. That's why you get a gaming PC and you spend all that money. So if you cannot go beyond 60, sample and hold display, you're gonna have a blurry mess. So the only option is to use black frame insertion, which should work great. So if I don't have a way to unlock the frame rate, I have to use black frame insertion. Otherwise, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. So for PC, it's not good enough. Sorry. So yeah, let's let it go and see how it looks, and then I'm gonna try black frame insertion. So that's yeah, let's see how it is. Start the game, new game, and see how this looks. Of course, ideally you want to see the game with the lights off. It's not looking good. Not looking good. The textures, those trees are low resolution, blurry. I don't want to bash the game. I want to like it, okay? But it's not. This is not good. Not loving it. It is blurry. It is blurry at 4K because it's TAA. TAA is force, and I can clearly see the sharpness filter. This is not good. So let's talk about the HDR. That's the reason why we are here. So let me take a look at this darkness here. Everything is visible on the darkness. It's perfectly visible. see if there is any. There's no highlights. That moon is not popping or anything. That light is like 150 nits, something like that, 200 nits. That's not popping at all. So that the thunderstorms should be more impactful, more impressive. So I don't know. Let's keep going. So what we do here, just play with the cats. So that was giving me a little bit. That thunderstorm gave me a little bit of HDR effect. Let me lower the exposure so it looks better on the recording. Yeah. So yeah, it's not looking as spectacular, to be honest. Let's see if there is any. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Play with the cats? Is that what we do here? I hope we can go out. Yeah, so HDR wise, it's not giving me any HDR effect because really this scene has nothing, just the darkness, and I'm not crushing blacks. It looks perfect on the dark, so I have no issue there. Let me see if I can get out of here. Well, it looks like we just have to sleep. That's what we have to do, just sleep. So those thunderstorm, if this was like HDR10 mastered and all of that, I'm sure that's supposed to be more impactful, those lights, because we are on the darkness. So when you get that thunderstorm, it should be wow, it should blind you, and it was not. So this is looking better. I don't like the depth of field here. It's too much blurriness. It's not a gradual depth of field. It's like everything is blurry on the background. You just see the cats on a first plane, and then that fade of the depth of field was not gradual. It was like boom. You cannot see it, now you can see it. So yeah, I don't want to like bash the game because this is like an indie developer, and I think it's a very good idea, a very original idea to have a cat game. But this is not. It's blurry. This is 4K and it's blurry because of TAA. That's unacceptable. That's why I hate all this TAA forced games. It's unacceptable. It's looking blurry at 4K. Let me take a look at the performance. Look at this. GPU at 62%. And I have the frame rate locked on 60. That's unacceptable. So I should be getting here 100 frames because my GPU is at 64%. I should be getting 100 frames. So I'm gonna have to get a mod for that. So let's take a look at. Let's talk about something good about the game, okay? Because we're talking bad only. So the colors, I like them. That green is looking beautiful. I like the depth of the image. It's looking a little bit flat, to be honest, but it's okay. Like the depth is okay. This is looking bright. This is looking at like HDR bright. This is super bright here now. On the recording, it's blowing out. Yeah, it's looking blown out on the recording because it's super bright. Let me lower the exposure more. Because this here, yeah, it's still blowing out on the recording. It's super bright. So I like that. But because all of this is looking it's looking a little bit flat, and I'm not getting depth on the image. and it's blurry, and it's locked to 60. Bad. Bad, man. This is not acceptable. I know I can fix it, probably get a mod, you know, turn off that TAA, you know, unlock the frame rate, do upscaling to get rid of that blurriness. Maybe the shadows are looking low res. I have the graphics maxed out. Those shadows are low resolution. Like it's a blurry mess. The textures are not like very high resolution. So you see the VRAM usage is like 5 gigabytes only. So low resolution textures, blurry, TAA. Let me see if there is any trailing artifacts. Yes, of course, trailing artifacts. So basically when you do this, you see the cat doubling because TAA uses temporal data. So that gives you those ugly trailing artifacts. So it's blurry, it looks blurry in movement, low resolution textures, low resolution shadows. The game is locked to 60 frames. So I know this is an indie developer and this is Unreal Engine 4, but they can do better than that. Unreal Engine 4 games, they don't have to come locked to 60. Let me see if I can, if I turn off the VSync from the game. That shouldn't make any change because I have VSync on the NVIDIA control panel. Let me see if that, yeah, it does nothing. It does nothing basically. So let me make sure I know I have the NVIDIA control panel with 120 frames. Let me see. NVIDIA control panel. Man, I was expecting to tell you, hey, this game looks super great and the HDR is amazing, and yeah, it's 120 frames. The game is locked to 60. Okay, well anyway, let's let's do a comparison with the HDR10 from Windows. So what I am expecting with the HDR10 from Windows is less peak brightness and the colors being a little bit washed out. So this should look less bright, the colors a little bit washed out, and yeah, less bright basically. So but let's take a look at it. I'm going to turn off HLG and let's take a look at 11131111. We have to change this to SDR gamma, then go back to auto, and then I'm going to turn on HDR on Windows so we can take a look at auto HDR. We turn on HDR and we turn on auto HDR. Okay, let's see how it looks. And I think we have to make sure I'm not sure, but I think on auto HDR this matters 100%. Well, actually it's brighter. Actually the overall image is brighter. This is brighter than with HLG, but it's washed out. Let me take a look. Let me see the settings. It's washed out a little bit here. It has no depth. This is looking brighter. The shadow detail is over brightened. Let me take a look at the settings. So we have tone mapping off. Let me change to HGIG. No difference. No difference. Tone mapping on. Oh, it's even more washed out. Don't like it at all. It's completely like, bright everywhere. This looks even more flat. It looks ugly. So if we do tone mapping off, it's between tone mapping off and HGIG. Let me look at the There's no difference. Yeah, a little bit, almost imperceptible difference on the highlights. So I would leave it on HGIG. So it's not looking bad, but yeah, it is looking bad in comparison. So this looks brighter than HLG, but it's brighter on a washed out way because it looks overly bright. It looks overly bright and the colors are a little bit washed out. And then the shadow detail is looking even more flat with less depth. Not better. Now, is this better than SDR? Absolutely. I would use this instead of SDR. Absolutely. But really the way I would play this game, if it was locked to 60, I would just, it's locked to 60. So I would, let me check. So I'm sure I'm not speaking something that's not, let me just double check that I don't have 60. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I have, yeah, that's probably, yeah, that's what it is. Oh no, it's still locked. Yeah, it's still locked to 60. I thought that because I have the Riva Turner locked to 60, I thought that was the problem. But no, it's still locked to 60. Let me just double check. Yeah, Riva Turner. This is a program that you use on PC to. You can use on PC to lock the frame rate to make it more stable. So it is not locked now. It was locked, but it's not locked now. It's still locked to 60. The game is locked to 60. So the way I would play this, if I cannot unlock the frame rate, which I'm sure I can, is I would basically just use black frame insertion. So let me take a look at how good black frame insertion looks. Actually, I was surprised with how good the auto HDR is. I thought it was gonna be worse, to be honest, but it's not. It's not better than HLG, not even close. So yeah, it's not even close. And this is HGIG, by the way. If you want a brighter image overall, this is about the same level of brightness as that auto HDR for the mid-tones, which I don't like. But if that's what you're looking for, you can just use HGIG with HLG. So that's gonna give you a brighter overall image with less highlights. So I would use off. Off is better. It gives you more depth on the image. So let me try black frame insertion. I have to turn off G-Sync. Hopefully the game doesn't crash. It might. It might crash. If it crashes, I would just end the video. Let's see. It might crash because, yeah, it does. Now let's see. The problem is on PC, I have to remove that 4096 by 2160 resolution that the TV has, which is unusable. That resolution is not usable at all, and it causes stretching in some games. So basically, that causes a problem with the G-Sync. So to turn off G-Sync without getting, without having a problem with the signal, you have to go to the control panel and turn off G-Sync at the same time. Let me do that. So you see, I have to go here to the NVIDIA control panel and turn off G-Sync here first, and then turn it off on the TV. And just in case, what I do is I do it at the same time. So I click here, apply, and turn it off at the same time. Okay. I like to do the video in this way, so you see something real. I'm reacting to the game live, and I'm dealing with issues that you might encounter live. So I think this is valuable. So you see how to deal with things like that. So right now we successfully turn off VRR G-Sync. So now I'm going to turn on Motion Pro. So we have Motion Pro, and to get the brightness back, what we do is just turn on dynamic tone mapping with this HLG. So let's see how that looks. Okay, so we have dynamic tone mapping. It's looking a little bit washed out. So this is looking, let me see, take a second. So this is looking less bright than auto HDR and less washed out, but it is a little bit washed out in comparison with tone mapping off, a little bit, because that tone mapping off gives you so much more depth on the image, but it is making the colors a little bit diluted, because that tone mapping off is actually, that tone mapping, dynamic tone mapping on with HLG is actually raising the brightness like crazy. But this is looking better than that auto HDR. It's looking with more, it has more depth. The brightness is down for the highlights, but the midtones are looking okay. And I bet there's no shadow detail, there's no dark crush with this option. Let me go to the calibration screen, this gamma calibration screen. So yeah, this is good. This is good. So I can see this cat in the middle, and of course I cannot see that one. So this is good. This is not gonna have any issues. So with the lock 60 and black frame insertion, well, actually, this is another thing I'm gonna tell you. I can notice that the refresh rate of the display is 120 because I am getting frames double. I'm getting double frames. So I can clearly see that. To use black frame insertion at 60 Hertz, you have to make sure that you have 60 Hertz. The resolution has to be 60 Hertz. It cannot be 120, otherwise you get frame doubling. It does have an advantage. You're not gonna see flickering, but if you get frame doubling, you're not getting that, the benefit, the full benefits, I would say, of that black frame insertion. So you have to change the resolution to 60. Now, after that change, I can definitely notice some flickering. But after a moment, you can get used to it. So now I move the camera, and this is, well, it's giving me some judder. Yeah, because it's 59 frames. So it is locked at 59 for some reason. So it's giving me judder. So judder is basically like you have perfect motion resolution and it does this. So it's, it does this. So that is because it's 59 frames. So I have to make sure this is 60. And one reason can be ultra low latency. When you have NVIDIA ultra low latency here, that can cause that problem, because for that ultra low latency, it needs 1 frame at 60 and 3 frames at 120 to have like a buffer to give you the lowest latency. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to change that low latency mode from ultra to on. So we have off, on, and ultra. So I'm gonna change it to on and see if that fixes the issue. It is not. Let me turn it off. And if not, I would just restart the game, because maybe the changes are not applied that fast. You see now? No, still locked to 59. So let me fix that problem here. Now let me restart the game. Let me restart the game. See if that problem gets fixed. So that's the thing with PC. It's not like turning on the game, start playing, and you don't have to worry about anything else on the console. You just want to play the game. But on PC, we have these challenges. But at the end, you can get a better result. So you get what you pay for. So you pay a lot of money, you should get a better result, but there's some struggles in the process. Yeah, so the game is locked to 60. So now it's better. Now it is fixed. Now it's a lock 60. So this is perfect. So let me do. So you see this. This is not very flat. The frame time line is not perfectly flat. It has a little bit of imperfection. So what you do here is use MSI Afterburner. This is something that most people know on PC. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I can tell you about that, how to get that working. So now this is a lot much better. It's perfectly flat, 60. Of course, I want to unlock that frame, but if we're gonna use black frame insertion, well, I'm getting tearing. I'm getting screen tearing. So the game is not caring about the NVIDIA VSync being on. So I have to turn it on here on the game itself. And now it's perfect. Now I am not getting tearing. Okay, so I would play the game like this. If I cannot unlock the frame rate, what I would do is just use NVIDIA deep learning super sampling and just get a higher fidelity. But when you have TAA, it's blurry anyway, so that's like a waste of computing power. So I would rather just remove TAA and remove the frame rate, and I should be getting like 100 frames, 70 to 100 frames in most parts of the game with that HLG tone mapping off. Or I can just decide to use black frame insertion and then play at 60 and maybe remove that TAA and use NVIDIA deep learning super sampling to get a sharper result and to prevent the jaggies from turning off that TAA, because that's another thing. When you turn off TAA in this kind of TAA force games, it doesn't look very good. The shadows are so low res, so low res. It's a mess. The shadows are a mess. Man, not liking it. Not liking it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to fix it, but this is like refund worth. It's not worth it. It's probably also a short game. So yeah, I'm not gonna even try Special K or Reshade. I can tell you, man, it's not even close. The Special K is not designed for these HDR displays. It's designed for SDR capable displays, trying to get like an HDR effect, but it doesn't work very well. It works horrible. It's not even close. I'm not gonna even bother showing that. The fake HDR on Reshade it's the same thing. It's not gonna work even. I mean, auto HDR from Windows is gonna do a much better job. But yeah, the HLG is the way to go here.